you outline Jerome Powell and the note that the president just sent to him. There are many who believe that Powell has been politicized in a lot of different ways. The president has not been shy about acting on things that he believes in. Why not just fire Jerome Powell and put in somebody that is going to lower rates? Why wait?
Well, it's a good question and one you can ask the president because that's a decision for him to make. But you're right to point out the politicization of the Fed, and it's very unfortunate for our country. But Jerome Powell cut rates numerous times ahead of the election when Joe Biden was in this Oval Office, but now he refuses to when the economy is in a much better place. So there really isn't a good explanation for that, and the president is rightfully calling attention to it. Kelly.
Good afternoon. On Iran, the president posted on his social that he is not even talking to them anymore. When we were at NATO, he said he expected the U.S. and Iran to have talks as early as this week and that he might even want to see a written agreement. What is the update now if he's saying he's not even talking?
So as I told you from the podium last week, I said the administration, and namely our special envoy Steve Witkoff, has been in communication both directly and indirectly with the Iranians. That communication continues. The president himself has not talked to Iran, which he pointed out in his truth statement. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. The president on Friday said that he was hopeful of a Gaza deal within the next week. Can you give us an update on any progress towards that, and on any talks that the White House is having with Israel on that?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, I know that Mr. Dermer is in Washington this week to meet with senior officials here at the White House. I also know that this administration is in constant communication with Israeli leadership, and the president himself speaks frequently, as you know, to Prime Minister Netanyahu. But this has been a priority for the president since he took office, to end this brutal war in Gaza. It is because of this president that humanitarian aid is being brought into the region. It's heartbreaking to see the images that have come out from both Israel and Gaza throughout this war, and the president wants to see it end. He wants to save lives. And however, the main priority for the president also remains to bring all of the hostages home out of Gaza. As you know, his tireless effort has brought home many of the hostages, including all of the American hostages who were held there. So he wants to see both things happen, and we're continuing to work very hard to do those things. Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. What is the White House's response to Senator Tillis's criticism articulated from the Senate floor yesterday, in which he said passing the big, beautiful bill would betray President Trump's promise to protect Medicaid?
Well, he is just wrong. And the president and the vast majority of Republicans who are supportive of this legislation are right. This bill protects Medicaid, as I laid out for you, for those who truly deserve this program: the needy, pregnant women, children, sick Americans who physically cannot work. And what it does is it ensures that able-bodied Americans who can work 20 hours a week are actually doing so, and that will therefore strengthen and protect those benefits for Americans who need it, as well as cutting out the waste, fraud, and abuse, as well as getting 1.4 million illegal aliens off of the program. So all of those measures are actually going to protect it for those who need it. That's the president's position, and that's what this bill does, and that's why Republicans need to vote for it and get it to the president's desk.
Stephen, criticism from a Republican senator, is that reason for concern for the passage of this?
No, it's not. We're confident this bill is going to be back at the White House by the 4th of July. Stephen.
Thank you, Caroline. Two questions. On the New York mayoral race, does the president plan to make an endorsement? And secondly, on Jerome Powell, a lot of the focus obviously has been on interest rates and him keeping them high, but a new controversy erupted today. My colleague first reported that he's facing Chairman Jerome Powell is facing accusations of lying to Congress, which is a potential crime, about luxurious details of the Fed's $2.5 billion renovation project. Senator Loomis has called attention to this. Some experts want him to be investigated. Does the White House want these allegations investigated and, if found substantiated, punished?
I'll have to take a look at those allegations, and I will raise them to the president's attention and let him speak on them himself. To your first question regarding the mayoral race, the president was asked that yesterday by Maria Bartiromo. He refused to give an endorsement, so you won't get one from me at this podium unless he wants me to do that.
In one of her most commanding appearances yet, Karoline Leavitt, the newly appointed White House press secretary, has made headlines for the way she handled a heated press briefing that left reporters stunned, and many Americans thoroughly impressed. At just 30 years old, Leavitt has already become a rising star within the Republican Party, but some critics initially questioned whether she had enough experience or maturity to handle the pressures of being the nation's top spokesperson. Those doubts were quickly silenced when she confidently stood at the White House podium and took control of a tense room filled with seasoned journalists. What made her performance remarkable wasn't just her ability to deflect criticism or repeat talking points. It was her composure, clarity, and deep understanding of the administration's message. She handled aggressive questions from mainstream media outlets like CNN, MSNBC, and others without flinching. In fact, when one reporter attempted to corner her with a politically charged question, Leavitt responded with facts, a calm tone, and a subtle smile, turning what could have been a difficult moment into a masterclass in political communication. Throughout the briefing, Karoline demonstrated a rare combination of firmness and respect, balancing assertiveness with professionalism. She highlighted key conservative talking points, defended the administration's stance on critical issues like border security and free speech, and showed that she is more than capable of holding her own on the national stage. Social media quickly lit up with praise. Supporters applauded her performance, calling it refreshing, bold, and long overdue. Even some independent observers noted that whether you agree with her politics or not, Karoline Leavitt is clearly someone who understands the power of communication and how to use it effectively in Washington. In just a few minutes, she turned critics into believers and proved to the American public why she earned her position. This wasn't just a good day at work, it was a defining moment in her career. As political tensions in America continue to rise ahead of the 2024 election, voices like Karoline Leavitt's